What's going on, guys? Vulcan here, and today I'm sharing the things that I wish I knew before starting Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Now, some of these tips might seem a little old and obvious to those of us who've played Borderlands in the past, but for those who are new to the franchise, these will help make your journey into the game much easier. So let's get things kicked off with a few tips on how to approach all of the item drops that you're going to see throughout the game, because guys, let's face it, Wonderlands drops a ton of items on players, and this can be overwhelming because you don't know what you need and what you don't need. So here is something that I learned very early on in my Borderlands experience. Literally pick up everything. You need the gold, and selling junk is a great way to level up your bank account. And you can even go into the inventory and mark things you don't need as junk. That way you can easily approach a vending machine, press Y, and it'll sell all of your junk items. This saves you a ton of time and gets you some nice gold. Now, another thing you want to make sure to do is purchase those backpack, bank, and lost loot SDU upgrades from the blacksmith. These will increase the amount of stuff you can carry, which reduces the amount of trips you need to make to sell everything off. And lastly, make sure to check your lost loot machine for any drops that you missed. You want to make sure you didn't miss out on an upgrade, but these can also be sold for extra gold. Now, the other part of this is taking advantage of the fast travel system. So most of the time, you will have a fast travel point near some of the vending machines. So take advantage of fast traveling back, selling your stuff, and then moving on. Now, if you're farming an obelisk for a boss drop, then you can also teleport back to Brighthoof to dump your inventory. Then you can use the exact same portal to return to where you just were. This makes the farming process much faster and easier to manage. Next up, let's talk about a couple combat tips and tricks that you can take advantage of. Now, first up, you can cast spells and shoot at the same time. This one took me a while to actually notice. I just kind of stumbled upon it. But once I found out you can do this, it completely changed the way I played, since I could keep up my weapon damage, but also charge up a spell or two. So make sure to multitask out there because it really does help a lot. Next, this is a little one, but it is still pretty cool. If you jump on the small mushrooms, you're going to instantly kill them just like in Mario. Now, this works only on the shroomlets, but still, this is a really nice way to quickly take care of any spawning mushrooms from the colony enemies. Now, when it comes to actually prepping your inventory for missions or a chaos run, make sure to bring a couple different type of guns with different elements. This is incredibly helpful when you run into an enemy that has a high resistance to your abilities and your spells. Now, our last combat tip is to make sure you're using those barrels around the world. These are super powerful and can help clear out groups of enemies or take large chunks of health off of bosses to make fights much easier and much more manageable. So the last things I want to cover are more miscellaneous, but still things I think players should know about. So one, make sure to use melee to open groups of loot boxes all at once. You can even ground slam to AoE them open. This saves you from having to spam the open button like 100 times to get every single little container. Instead, you do a ground slam, everything opens, and you automatically loot it, which then saves you time. Number two, don't waste those skeleton keys that you can get from Gearbox. These are really powerful and will likely be very rare early on, so only use them if you absolutely need to. Number three, when it comes to finalizing your character, you can change your secondary class and reset your hero points at the quick change station once you've beaten the story. Number four, make sure to use the enchantment reroller to get the perks you need for your build. Don't feel like you need to hang on to those moon orbs because they do cap at 4,000 from what I've experienced. So get out there, get rolling, and find those perks that you need. Now, the very last thing I want to say, just have fun, guys. I mean, just have a good time. This is a brand new game. I've really been enjoying it, just like Elden Ring, and there's really no reason to rush through it. Search all of the areas for high and low, for hidden items, collect things, unlock them, soak up all those side quests, the humor, the writing, because this is really just one of those fun games, and I don't think we're going to get a game like Elden Ring and like Wonderlands again for a while, because it really is the complete package. So guys, that wraps this one up, and I really hope that these tips help teach you a thing or two. I do plan on having more Wonderlands content, so if you want to stay up to date on that, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell to know when a new video drops. If you like the video itself, please consider liking and sharing. It really does help the channel more than you know. But as always, thank you so much for stopping by. This has been Vulcan, and I'll see you next time.
Sound off one and all, everybody. Don't take what you openly handed. Reach up.